Okay, now, the next topic here, this isn't dealing with moment arms or anything right now, at least not explicitly, but it's been requested before, and that is the subject of pulleys. Now, pulleys are often misunderstood. We often don't take the time to learn about these things, but it's really important. It's really a good thing to get to know, because if you understand how pulleys work, if you understand how force gets redirected and sometimes split or multiplied, you get a better understanding of how much resistance you're actually encountering on a machine, and it helps you understand why a resistance or why a weight might feel a certain way, and why you can lift a certain amount on one kind of cable machine and maybe not on another. So I'm just going to share a quick rule of thumb, since we can't see the full pulley system in here, and I really, to teach a lot about the pulleys, would love to have an exposed unit that shows it more easily. And yeah, you can kind of see through this, but it's foggy and I don't want to deal with it. But I want to show you a quick little thing you can think about. I've decreased the weight to something very convenient. So let's assume this is like a 10-pound little plate or something, right? They're just, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, but whatever. I'm assuming they're about 10 pounds. If I'm pulling on this, if I'm pulling this cable, how do I know how much weight is actually being moved? Well, an easy way that you can tell on a lot of these machines is just by looking at how much displacement the weight goes through. What do I mean by that? When you pull the cable a certain distance, let's say I pull this 6 inches, which is maybe about there, the weight went up about 6 inches, right? So we could call that a 1-to-1 displacement, right? And also it happens to involve 1-to-1 force ratio. That is to say that this thing up here weighs, let's say it's 10 pounds. Well, I'm feeling, assuming there's no real friction or friction is negligible, I'm feeling 10 pounds right here. It takes about the same amount of force because the pulleys have just redirected the weight. If we open this machine up, what we would likely see, unless they'd done some really complicated stuff that wouldn't make any sense, they'd simply have the weight of the plates here up attached to a cable system that gets redirected back down, and then it comes out here at the bottom, and you can see that cable going into the machine there, comes around this pulley, wraps up over here, and then out it comes. So if you see the weight stack moving the same distance that you're pulling, so if I pull this a foot and it goes up a foot, and of course you can't see a foot into the machine, but if you do see the same amount of displacement between the weight stack and the cable, then you know that you are pulling with the same amount of force, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Again, just think about, you're doing the same amount of mechanical work. If work is force times distance, you're doing the same amount of work here. So that would also explain why that doesn't happen in some pulley systems. Sometimes you're going to pull, and maybe you move it a foot, and the weight stack only moves 6 inches. So that means something is going on with the amount of force there, with the weight that you actually feel. So I'll try to show that maybe in the next video. But again, this is 1-to-1. So I pull it 6 inches, right? I'm going to pull the same amount, but look up here, 6 inches, boom. So you see it went up about 6 inches. So this is just redirecting the weight. The weight here is more or less, ignoring friction, the same here. So ponder that. Hopefully that helps.